You are not family. You never were. You are just the charity case we kept around so the neighbors would think we had hearts. That is what my stepmother Diane said to me 3 Thanksgivings ago when I asked if I could bring a dish to the holiday dinner. She said it in front of my father. He stared at his plate and said nothing. He chewed his turkey and swallowed my dignity along with it. My name is Naomi. I am 31 years old, and right now I am lying on a daybed inside a cliffside villa in Santorini, Greece. The Aegean Sea is stretched out beneath me like a sheet of crushed sapphire. My fiancé Marcus is reading a legal brief on his tablet, his bare feet crossed at the ankle, looking like he belongs on the cover of a magazine. The air smells like bougainvillea and warm stone. There is a plate of grilled octopus and lemon on the table between us, prepared 20 minutes ago by our private chef. It is perfect here. It is silent, but the phone propped against the wine bottle is anything but silent. On the screen, my stepsister Vanessa's dream restaurant is having its grand opening gala in downtown Houston. 200 guests in cocktail attire, a chandelier the size of a small car, ice sculptures shaped like swans. And right now, at this very moment, a health inspector is walking through the front door with a clipboard, flanked by 2 officers from the fire marshal's office. My phone has 47 missed calls, all from Diane. I take a sip of Acertico wine and settle in, because the woman who told me I was not family is about to find out that the building her precious restaurant is sitting in belongs to me, and I have not even started. Before I tell you how we got here, let me know where you are watching from. Drop your city in the comments, hit like and subscribe if you have ever been called a burden by the people who were supposed to protect you. Now let me take you back. My mother died when I was 6. Ovarian cancer. She left behind a small life insurance policy and a daughter with her exact same face, her exact same deep brown skin, and her exact same stubborn refusal to be invisible. My father, Robert, remarried within a year. Diane was lighter, louder, and came with a daughter of her own. Vanessa was 8 months older than me, and from the moment she walked into our house carrying a pink suitcase, the hierarchy was established. Vanessa got the bedroom with the window. I got the basement. Vanessa got piano lessons. I got a list of chores taped to the refrigerator. Vanessa was Daddy's new princess. I was the leftover from a marriage he wanted to forget. But here is the thing about being invisible. You learn to watch, you learn to listen, and you learn to build things in silence that nobody sees coming. I put myself through college on scholarships and a part-time job at a law firm where I filed documents for $12 an hour. The attorney who ran that firm, a woman named Judge Carter, saw something in me. She mentored me. She taught me about commercial real estate, about distressed properties, about how money really works when nobody is watching. By the time I was 25, I had quietly purchased my first commercial building using an LLC that traces back to a P.O. box in Delaware. Nobody in my family knew. They still thought I was an administrative assistant. I let them believe it. Every Christmas, I showed up in a Honda Civic wearing clothes from Target, and they looked at me with the pity of people who think they are winning. Meanwhile, I was closing deals on my laptop in the parking lot before walking inside to be ignored. Now, fast forward to tonight. Vanessa's restaurant, a place she named Maison V because she thinks a French name makes reheated food taste better, is hosting its grand opening. She spent 2 years planning this. She posted about it every single day on Instagram. She called it her empire. She tagged luxury brands hoping they would notice. She even got a write-up in the local paper that called her an emerging restaurateur, which is a generous description for a woman whose business plan was financed entirely by my father's retirement savings and a loan from a man named Derek, who Vanessa has been dating for 5 months and who claims to be a venture capitalist. I was not invited to the opening. Diane called me last week to make that clear. She said Vanessa's event was for serious people, for investors and influencers, not for someone who would show up in flats and order the cheapest thing on the menu. She said my presence would send the wrong message. I said I understood. And I did. I understood perfectly. That is why I booked the villa in Santorini the next morning. Marcus looks up from his tablet. He nods toward the phone screen where the live stream from the restaurant's security cameras is playing. I own the building, which means I own the security system, which means I have a front row seat to every angle. The health inspector just opened the walk-in cooler, Marcus says calmly. He has the same analytical tone he uses in depositions. He is a corporate litigation attorney who reads people the way a mechanic reads engines. He sees the broken parts before the smoke starts. Look at the sous chef. He is sweating more than the ice sculpture. I zoom in. Marcus is right. The sous chef, a nervous young man in a stained apron, is hovering near the cooler door. His hands are shaking. He keeps looking toward the back office where Vanessa disappeared 5 minutes ago. The inspector pulls out a thermometer. He sticks it into something on the middle shelf. He looks at the reading. He writes something on his clipboard. Then he opens the shelf below and recoils slightly. That small recoil is worth 1,000 words. On the restaurant floor, the guests have no idea what is happening in the kitchen. They are drinking champagne and taking selfies beneath the chandelier. Diane is holding court near the bar, wearing a gold sequin dress that is fighting for its life against her ego. She is telling anyone who will listen that her daughter is going to be the next big thing in Houston dining. She is name-dropping investors she has never met. She is performing wealth the way she has always performed everything, loudly and with no receipts. My phone buzzes. It is a text from Victor, my building manager. Victor knows who I am. Vanessa does not. To Vanessa, Victor is just the maintenance guy who fixes the plumbing. She has yelled at him twice this month for not moving fast enough. She called him the help. He did not forget. The text reads, Inspector found raw chicken stored above ready-to-eat produce. Temperature in the cooler is 15 degrees above code. He is writing violations. Also, the fire marshal noticed the emergency exits are blocked by the ice sculptures. They are not happy. I put the phone down and take a bite of octopus. It is tender and perfectly charred. The irony is not lost on me. I am eating the best seafood of my life while my stepsister's kitchen is about to be shut down for mishandling poultry. Marcus pours me more wine. How long before it hits the dining room? He asks. About 10 minutes, I say. The inspector has to finish the report. Then he talks to the owner. Then the owner has 2 choices. Fix it immediately or shut down service. And Vanessa cannot fix it, Marcus says. It is not a question. Vanessa cannot fix a leaking faucet, I reply. She hired a head chef who faked his credentials. I know because I ran a background check on every employee in my building. The head chef's resume says Le Cordon Bleu. The truth is a 6-week certificate from a community college in Tucson. There is nothing wrong with that education, but lying about it on a health-regulated kitchen application is fraud. The dining room camera shows the first crack. The health inspector emerges from the kitchen followed by the fire marshal. They are not smiling. They walk directly toward the hostess stand and ask to speak with the owner. The hostess, a young woman who looks like she would rather be anywhere else, picks up a phone and dials the back office. 30 seconds later, Vanessa appears. She is wearing a white designer dress that probably cost more than her first month's rent on the space. Her hair is blown out to perfection. Her smile is wide and confident. The smile of a woman who has never been told no by anyone except me. Good evening, gentlemen, Vanessa says, extending her hand like she is greeting diplomats. Welcome to Maison V. I hope you are enjoying the ambiance. Can I offer you a glass of our signature rosé? The health inspector does not shake her hand. He holds up his clipboard. Ma'am, we have identified 7 critical violations in your kitchen. I need to discuss immediate remediation before I can allow continued food service. Vanessa's smile freezes. It does not drop. It freezes, which is worse. A dropped smile is surprise. A frozen smile is denial. I am sure there has been a misunderstanding, Vanessa says, lowering her voice. Her eyes dart to the nearest table of guests. She does not want them to hear. We passed our preliminary inspection last month. Everything is up to code. The inspector flips a page. Your preliminary inspection was conducted by a third-party consultant. This is a surprise inspection triggered by an anonymous complaint filed with the Harris County Health Department. We found raw poultry stored improperly, cooking temperatures not being maintained, expired dairy products in active use, and your emergency exits are obstructed. I am required to issue a cease and desist on food preparation until these violations are corrected. Vanessa's frozen smile finally cracks. It splits like ice on a warm sidewalk. You cannot do this tonight, she hisses, grabbing his arm. This is my grand opening. I have investors here. I have press here. Do you know how much money I spent on this evening? The inspector pulls his arm back. He is calm. He has done this 1,000 times. Ma'am? The violations are a matter of public safety. I am not shutting you down permanently. I am suspending food service until the issues are corrected. Your bar can remain open. Your guests can stay. But no food leaves that kitchen until I sign off. No food. At a restaurant opening, where the entire point is the food. Marcus chuckles. That is like hosting a pool party and draining the pool. I watch the screen as Vanessa's composure dissolves. She excuses herself and speed walks to the back office. She slams the door. Through the security camera in the hallway, I can see her pacing back and forth, her heels clicking furiously on the tile. She is on the phone. She is calling Diane. 3 seconds later, Diane's phone rings at the bar. I watch her answer it. I watch her face change from smug satisfaction to pure horror. She sets down her champagne glass so hard it cracks the stem. She marches toward the kitchen like a woman going to war. Here comes the cavalry, I say to Marcus. Diane bursts through the kitchen doors, nearly knocking over a busboy. She finds the health inspector writing notes near the prep station. What she does next is so predictable it is almost boring. She screams. Do you have any idea who we are? Diane shrieks. My daughter has been featured in Houston Living magazine. She has investors from New York. You are going to destroy her career over some chicken? This is harassment. This is racial profiling. I am going to call the mayor. The inspector does not flinch. Ma'am, the violations are documented with photographs. This has nothing to do with who you are. It has to do with food safety regulations. Diane shifts tactics. She leans in close. She lowers her voice to what she thinks is a threatening whisper, but the kitchen camera picks up every word. How much? She asks. How much to make this go away? Name your price. I will write you a check right now. Marcus sits up straight. She did not just try to bribe a health inspector, he says, incredulous. She absolutely did, I reply. And that kitchen camera just recorded every word in high definition because the security system I installed 3 months ago records audio. The inspector steps back. He holds up his hand. Ma'am, I am going to pretend I did not hear that. But if you interfere with this inspection again, I will escalate this to a criminal complaint. Please leave the kitchen. Diane storms out. Her gold dress catches on the door handle and tears slightly at the hip. She does not notice. She is too busy calling someone else. I zoom in on her phone screen. She is calling my father. Robert picks up. I can hear his voice faintly through the camera audio. What is happening? He asks. His voice sounds tired. It always sounds tired now. Diane has spent 30 years draining the life out of that man. Everything is ruined, Diane cries. The health department is here. They are shutting down the kitchen. We need money, Robert. We need to hire a lawyer tonight. Call someone. Call your brother. Call the bank. We need $50,000 to fix the kitchen and pay off these people. My father is silent for a long time. Then he says something that surprises me. I do not have $50,000, Diane. You know that. You used my retirement fund for the build-out. We are leveraged up to our necks. I told you this was too much. It is the first honest thing I have heard him say in a decade. But Diane does not want honesty. She wants obedience. Then call Naomi, Diane says. The words hit me like a splash of cold water. She has that little job downtown, Diane continues. She must have some savings. Tell her it is an emergency. Tell her she owes us. We kept a roof over her head for 12 years. She owes this family. Marcus looks at me. His jaw is tight. He knows what those words mean to me. He knows the years of unpaid emotional labor, the years of being told I was a burden while I silently built a fortune they cannot imagine. My phone rings. It is my father. I stare at the screen. I let it ring 4 times. Then I answer. Naomi. His voice is small, like a man who knows he is asking the wrong person for the wrong thing. Hey, sweetheart. How are you doing? I am in Greece, Dad. It is beautiful here. How are you? Listen, honey. He pauses. I can hear Diane coaching him in the background, her sharp whisper cutting through the static. We have a situation with Vanessa's restaurant. There has been an inspection issue. Nothing serious, but we need some help with the cost to fix a few things. I was wondering if you could maybe lend us something. Anything would help. Diane says you might have some savings from your job. I look at Marcus. He shakes his head slowly. Not because he is telling me what to do, but because he already knows my answer. Dad, I say, how much did you put into this restaurant? He is quiet. Then, in a voice barely above a whisper, everything. The 401k. The savings. I took a second mortgage. Diane said it was a sure thing. She said Derek, Vanessa's boyfriend, was backing it with real investor money. Dad, I say gently, did you ever meet these investors? No, he admits. Derek handled all of that. He said they preferred to stay anonymous. I close my eyes. Derek is a con artist. I have known this for weeks. I hired an investigator the moment I heard his name attached to Vanessa's lease application. Derek's real name is Darren Mitchell. He has warrants in 3 states for wire fraud and investment scams. He targets women with family money and drains them dry. He is probably already gone. He probably left the moment the health inspector walked through the door. Dad, I need you to do something for me, I say. Go to the restaurant right now, find Derek, look him in the eye, and ask him for the investment documentation. Ask him for the LLC papers. Ask him for one single receipt from one single investor. Why? My father asks, confused. Because I do not think those investors exist, Dad. And I think the man your stepdaughter has been dating just robbed you. The line goes silent. I hear my father breathing. I hear Diane in the background asking what I said, demanding he put me on speaker. But for once, he does not comply. He just hangs up. On the restaurant camera, I watch the next domino fall. The guests have noticed that no food is coming out of the kitchen. The waitstaff is standing around awkwardly, avoiding eye contact. One server approaches a table and whispers something. The woman at the table throws her napkin down and stands up. Word is spreading like smoke through the dining room. The kitchen is shut down. There is no food. The grand opening of Maison the Fifth is serving nothing but embarrassment and warm champagne. Then someone notices that Derek is gone. A guest near the back asks Vanessa where her partner is. Vanessa looks around the room. She checks the back office. She checks the patio. She checks the parking lot. His car is gone. His coat is gone. And when she checks the safe in the back office, the operating cash, $8,000 in 20s and hundreds that was supposed to cover tonight's vendors, is also gone. Vanessa screams. It is not a dramatic scream. It is the guttural sound of a woman who just realized she has been gutted. She runs back into the dining room, mascara already running, holding the empty cash box above her head like evidence. He took it, she screams. Derek took all of it. He cleaned out the safe. Someone call the police. He robbed us. The dining room erupts. Guests are standing up, checking their purses, reaching for their phones. The investors, 3 men who came because Derek invited them, look at each other with the dead-eyed recognition of men who have seen this scam before. They stand up in unison and walk toward the exit without a word. They do not look back. Diane is frozen at the bar. The gold sequins on her dress suddenly look cheap under the harsh overhead lights. She is staring at the empty safe like she is watching her own coffin being built. My father walks through the front door. He looks old. He looks like a man who just drove across town knowing his worst fear was about to be confirmed. He walks past the panicking guests, past his sobbing stepdaughter, past the health inspector still writing violations, and he goes straight to the back office. He opens the filing cabinet where Vanessa kept the business documents. He pulls out the folder labeled investor agreements. He opens it. Inside, there is nothing. No contracts, no signatures, no wire transfer receipts. Just blank paper and a single business card from a company that does not exist. My father sits down in the office chair. He puts the empty folder on the desk. He puts his head in his hands. And for the first time in my life, I watch my father cry. I look away from the screen. The Aegean Sea is black and silver under the moonlight. The stars are so bright they look fake. I feel the cold sting of tears in my own eyes, but not for the reason Diane would expect. I am not crying because they are suffering. I am crying because my father chose that woman over me for 30 years, and even now, at his lowest moment, he did not call me for comfort. He called me for money. Marcus reaches over and holds my hand. He does not say anything. He does not have to. He has held my hand through every nightmare about the basement bedroom, every therapy session about the rejection, every late night when I wondered if I was unlovable because my own father could not love me enough to stand up. I pick up my phone. I call Victor, my building manager. Victor, I say, is the building secure? Yes, Miss Naomi. The kitchen is shut down. The fire marshal cleared the blocked exits. The health department is wrapping up. It is a mess in here. Victor, I need you to do something for me tomorrow morning. I need you to deliver an envelope to Vanessa personally. Hand it to her. No one else. What is in the envelope? He asks. A 30-day notice of lease termination, I say. She violated 14 clauses in her lease agreement. Unapproved kitchen modifications. Failure to maintain health and safety standards. Subletting storage space to an unauthorized third party, which is Derek's little side hustle of storing stolen electronics in my basement. And non-payment. She is 2 months behind on rent. Victor is quiet for a moment. She is going to lose her mind, he says. She already has, I reply. I am just making it official. I hang up and look back at the screen. The dining room is almost empty now. The ice sculptures are melting into puddles on the floor. The chandelier that cost $15,000 is illuminating nothing but abandoned place settings and wilting centerpieces. Vanessa is sitting at the bar alone. Her white dress is stained with red wine someone spilled during the chaos. She is holding her phone, scrolling through her Instagram comments. She went live 30 minutes ago, crying and asking her followers to help her find Derek. The comments are not kind. They are dissecting her lies, her fake luxury lifestyle, her rented designer bags. Someone found Derek's mugshot from a 2019 arrest in Florida and posted it in the comments. It is going viral. My phone rings. It is Diane. I answer. I do not say hello. Naomi. Her voice is stripped of all the venom I have known for 3 decades. It is just a voice now. A tired, scared voice. Naomi, please. I know we have not always been kind to you. But your father is here. He is broken. We have lost everything. The restaurant is done. Derek stole our money. The health department is shutting us down. We cannot pay the rent. We are going to lose the lease. We are going to be homeless. Please, you are the only one left. You are family. Family. The word she swore I was not. I let the silence stretch. I let her sit in it. I want her to feel the weight of that word, the word she weaponized against me for decades, and is now trying to use as a shield. Diane, I say, do you remember what you told me 3 Thanksgivings ago, when I asked if I could bring a sweet potato pie to dinner? She is quiet. You said I was not family, I continue. You said I was a charity case. You said it in front of my father and he did not correct you. You said it in front of Vanessa and she laughed. I drove home that night and sat in my car in the parking lot of my apartment for 2 hours because I could not stop shaking. Naomi, you were just being honest, I say. And now I am being honest. I am not your emergency fund, Diane. I am not the girl in the basement anymore. And the building Vanessa's restaurant is sitting in? I bought it 14 months ago. I am the landlord. The lease termination notice will be delivered tomorrow morning. The sound that comes through the phone is not a scream. It is worse. It is the sound of a woman choking on the realization that the person she discarded is the person who owns the ground beneath her feet. You, Diane whispers. You own the building. That is impossible. You are a secretary. I was never a secretary, Diane. I am the CEO of a real estate holding company. I own 11 commercial properties in 3 states. The Honda Civic was a costume. The Quiet was a strategy. And every single time you told me I was nothing, I used it as fuel to become something you could never buy, beg, or steal. Diane is crying now. She is not crying for me. She is crying for herself. She is crying because the power dynamic she built her entire identity around has just inverted, and she is on the wrong side. Please, she begs. Give us more time. Do not evict us. Vanessa will fix the kitchen. We will find the money. Just give us a chance. I look at the screen. Vanessa is now arguing with the bartender about whether she can drink the remaining champagne without paying for it. My father is still sitting in the back office, staring at the empty folder. The health inspector is taping a yellow violation notice to the front window. The dream is over. Diane, I say, do you remember what else you told me that Thanksgiving? You told me to figure it out on my own. You told me the world does not owe me anything. Well, I figured it out. I figured it out so well that I own the roof over your daughter's failed restaurant, and the world does not owe you anything either. I take a breath. The sea breeze is cool on my face. But I am not you. Diane. I am not cruel for sport. So here is what I will do. I will give Vanessa 60 days instead of 30. Not because she deserves it, but because my father is in that building, and unlike you, I cannot look at him suffering and feel nothing. He failed me, but he is still my blood. Use the 60 days wisely, clean the kitchen, pay the violations, find a real chef, and Diane, get a real job. Not a title, a job. I hang up before she can respond. I do not need her gratitude. I do not need her tears. I need the silence. And the silence comes. Warm and complete. Marcus closes his tablet and looks at me. You gave them 60 days, he says. You are more generous than they deserve. I am not generous. 60 days is enough time for my father to see the truth. It is enough time for him to make a choice. He can stay with Diane and drown, or he can walk away and start over. I cannot make that choice for him, but I can give him the time to make it. Marcus smiles. He pulls a small box from behind his book. It is black velvet, the size of a tangerine. What is that? I ask. Open it, he says. Inside the box, resting on white silk, is a ring, but it is not a diamond. It is an emerald, a deep, dark green stone set in a vintage Art Deco band. It is the exact color of the Aegean Sea at midnight. It belonged to my grandmother, Marcus says. She told me to give it to a woman who knows her own worth. I have been waiting for the right moment. I think watching you reclaim your power while eating octopus in Greece is about as right as it gets. I laugh. I laugh so hard that the tears finally fall, not from sadness or anger, but from the sheer, overwhelming relief of being seen by someone who loves every version of me, even the version that lived in a basement. I put the ring on. It fits perfectly. Yes, I say. Obviously, yes. We sit together in the darkness, watching the stars multiply over the water. The phone screen has gone dark. The restaurant cameras are recording an empty dining room now. The chandelier has been turned off. The ice sculptures are just puddles. Maison V is closed. 6 months later, I am standing in the lobby of the building I own in downtown Houston. The space that used to be Maison the Fifth has been gutted and rebuilt. The walls are warm brick, the lighting is soft. The menu is simple, honest food, made by a real chef with real credentials. It is called Nana's Table, named after my mother. I did not open this restaurant for revenge. I opened it because my mother used to say that food is how you tell someone you love them without speaking. Every dish on the menu is something she made for me before she died. Sweet potato pie, braised short ribs, cornbread with honey butter. Simple food, served with dignity. My father is sitting at the corner table. He left Diane 2 months ago. He is living in a small apartment near the park. He looks thinner, but his eyes are clearer than I have seen them in years. He is eating a slice of sweet potato pie and crying quietly into his napkin, not because it is sad, but because it tastes exactly the way my mother used to make it. Vanessa works at a department store now. She sells shoes. I know this because she applied for a job at my restaurant last month. I did not hire her. Not out of spite, but because she listed Derek as a professional reference on her application, which tells me she has not learned a thing. Diane is living with her sister in Galveston. She does not call me anymore. She does not call my father either. The social climber ran out of ladders. I walk through the dining room of Nana's table. The tables are full. The laughter is real. The food is honest. On the wall near the entrance, there is a framed photograph of my mother. She is young, maybe 25, standing in a kitchen, holding a wooden spoon, smiling at the camera with a joy so pure it makes strangers stop and ask who she is. That is my mom, I tell them. She is the reason this place exists. Marcus meets me at the door. He is holding 2 glasses of wine. We step outside onto the patio and look up at the Houston skyline. The building is mine. The restaurant is mine. The life is mine. People always say that success is the best revenge. But standing here, wearing my mother-in-law's emerald ring and serving my mother's sweet potato pie in a building I bought with money I earned in silence, I realized that revenge was never the point. The point was to build a life so solid, so real, so mine, that the people who tried to make me small could never take credit for my height. The best revenge is not making them suffer. It is making them irrelevant. Have you ever had to walk away from people who were supposed to love you to finally find yourself? Share your story below. Hit subscribe if you are ready to build your own table instead of begging for a seat at someone else's.